And the next person up participated in our second open mic, Paul Ostreicher. Paul, did I pronounce your last name right? You got it right. Okay. And Paul is going to introduce his music, and I just want to say that we didn't have a piano this time or keyboards this time. Next time, I'm hoping we will. But Paul, we had the good fortune of listening to Paul play on his piano. So please give Paul your attention, and Paul.
So much. And I got to tell you, it's the first time I've ever been here, and this is like the best place. I'm so glad there's a place in Westchester like this.
That's right.
It's like the days come.
Yeah.
So it's
only gay bar in Westchester County, folks.
So it seems a little sad because there's no keyboard, and half the fun in playing music is doing it live. But I've been writing a series of piano riffs, and I've got 5 of them finished, a couple of them in the oven yet. And Fran said, well, you know what, we don't have a piano here, but come on up anyway, bring the CD, and we'll play the CD.
And before we play the CD, I got to ask you this. What is the trick? So many people wonder how it is to write a song. Many people write poetry, write essays, or artists or whatever. What is your trigger, Paul? What gets you to create? Just say a couple of sentences about that.
That's such a big subject. Sometimes I'm really moved by something. Like I tend to write a lot of poetry when, it's probably all bad poetry, but I write a lot of that when I'm going through a rough time. And I think with music too, sometimes, you never know, I usually carry a little notebook around now, because you never know when you're going to get an idea, and I'll write it down, and sometimes I'll take a tape recorder too, because you can't always write it fast enough to get it down. But with this piece, I threw about an hour or two ago, I threw 3 or 4 of my rags on a CD, and I was trying to pick one, and actually this is a real no-brainer, because I thought, well, there's one rag, this is June is Pride Month, and there's one rag that I wrote that I thought might be especially appropriate. It's called the Rainbow Rag.
Oh, very good.
And it's...
Come on, everybody. Come on.
Thanks.
Come on, guys. We're coming down to the last few people.
Okay.
Thanks.
Listen, don't make me seem like an ogre, because I don't like to get green. You know what I'm saying?
We only got 3 or 4.
There's only like 3 or 4 more people left, and we're gonna go back to karaoke. So just give Paul the floor, please.
I'll be quick. But this one, Fran was asking me to introduce him, and this particular rag, I usually hate to talk about my art, let it speak for itself.
And a rag, by rag, for those who may not.
It's ragtime in the style of like the turn of the century Scott Joplin, Scott Haydn, Arthur Marshall. These real giants who, the African American community. Some of them were the sons of slaves, and yet they wrote this ebullient, exuberant music that it's so optimistic, it's so cheerful and delicious. And I think there's something in me that always took to that. Although some of my rags turn out to be kind of a little bit melancholy, but most of them have that same kind of snappy spirit. And this one definitely does. It's called the Rainbow Rag. And again, all I'll say about it is that it's written in the usual format for a rag, which is an opening exposition. Like sometimes there's an introduction. This one does have an introduction. And I quoted from Big Ben, the chimes, and I'll just tell you, I never told anybody this, but it's because we've waited so long to taste freedom, so many of us. And I just thought, a song about being yourself, whoever it is, it just seemed like, I'm going to start slow, just have the gongs going, and then launch into. So it's really not about the struggle. It's a fun song. But it's a celebration. And it goes ABA, it's AABBAA. And then after that, there's a transposition into the end, which is even more ebullient, I think. But right before you get that, see if you can hear it. I quote Big Ben again, so the chimes come back. I'll do something with my arm so you can see it. Because it's just like a little bit of the gray cloud before we kind of race towards the ending. And I guess I'll just play it, because...
I'm glad we didn't have a piano here so we can hear that wonderful introduction, Paul. Yeah, really wonderful. Ebullient, exuberant music. Wow. Wonderful explanation.
Thanks, well, I hope you like it.
Great stress.
Here we go.
It seems so weird to not be playing.
one person playing. It sounded like at least 2 or 3, you know?
Added another track. I had to play it twice.
Oh, oh, okay, great. All right, so that explain that. But now you wrote that music. You wrote that song. You were inspired to write it and wrote it and performed it, so to speak. Here, it was performed here. It's the first time we ever had at an open mic a pre-recorded song in piano, ragtime, but great introduction too. Thank you so much, Paul.